It gives me great honor and pleasure to welcome you to all this high-level fourth international symposium of constitutional jurisdictions of Africa on the theme Constitutionalism and State Building in Africa, hosted in Africa's diplomatic capital, Addis Ababa. This symposium is very timely as it deliberates on the interlink between two essential concepts on the state of governance, state building, and constitutionalism within the African setting. Although we have come a long way in exerting efforts for advancement of both constitutionalism and state building, Africa has yet to do more in terms of building stable institutions that are able to deliver key public services and in institutionalizing power. Beyond enhancing the state of governance by strengthening rule of law and human rights, both are fundamental in accelerating much-needed development within the African continent. The manifestations of constitutionalism go beyond ordaining the Constitution, as it implies not only the respect of the supreme law of the land by all branches of government, but also in serving as higher norm that actually defines and shapes public life in society. Africa has made progress over the last 3 decades in proclaiming working constitutions that fit its context, although a lot remains in terms of regulating power, checks and balances, and above all, enforcing all categories of rights. It is my hope that today's deliberations will highlight the progress made so far in our respective jurisdictions and in pointing out what needs to be done to transform our systems. In this regard, I cannot emphasize enough the role of highest courts, constitutional courts, supreme courts, and constitutional councils in interpreting the supreme law in addition to serving as its guardians. Beyond their presence, proper functioning of these institutions is a requirement for state building as well as assurance for sustainability of the system. Constitutionalism, regardless of its ideological overtones, is all about enforcement of the Constitution. Although the respect and enforcement of the Constitution concerns governments, civil societies, citizens, and political parties, as the highest tribunals, we take a leading position and play a critical role as umpires and custodians of the Constitution. I want to accentuate, however, that these tribunals' functions has to be complemented by a rich tradition of constitutionalism and rule of law, a matter that goes beyond courts, councils, and tribunals. It should be underlined that society's view of the law in general and the Constitution in particular depends on whether the text reflects the wishes and aspirations of the people, whether the process of its making was inclusive and participatory, and whether it is strictly adhered to by those who assume power. Striking the balance between the need to respond to the dynamics in society and ensuring permanency of constitutions is also a theoretical and practical challenge. Durability or frequent modifications, amendments, replacements, abrogation, and suspension need to be looked into owing to the fact that apart from a written constitution, its ability to stand the test of time, as well as its responsiveness, is evidence of stability in the system, which we need to strive to achieve. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is a forum that offers the setting to explore the complex process of state building, constitutionalism, and the correlation and tension between the two in the African context. As dynamic concepts, constitutionalism and state building, and the divergence in the practice, even when constitutions are similar, make this discussion pertinent, bringing together jurisdictions with a mix of practices. Participants will dive into concepts, theories, and applications in the African setting to accommodate the peculiarities of Africa, in which the state evolved from the primordial collective practice to the form styled in the modern concept of state, passing through several phases of development. Despite the debate on what constitutes good practice, in constitution making process and practice. We take lessons from the success stories of states ranging from producing the constitution making to implementation of on the basis of the realization of stability and improvement of life for citizens. The establishment of Conference of Constitutional Jurisdictions of Africa is certainly an opportunity for all of us to learn from one another, share best practices, and build a network that will help us in shaping our respective roles as we spearhead possible reforms. As President of the Ethiopian Federal Supreme Court and Chair of the Council of Constitutional Inquiry, I thank CJCA and its members for selecting Ethiopia to host this great event and for making this conference a reality.